Welcome to the Patch Notes podcast. I'm here with Dave or X67 Moon, and we are going to just jump straight into the news today. Dave, it seemed before the podcast you were pretty unfamiliar with New World. What exactly do you know about the game? Are you familiar with anything that's currently going on with it?
No, I don't even know what New World is.
Okay.
I'm not even
Um,
gonna lie to you guys.
I first heard about New World back when Tim the Tatman did some sponsored streams with it. It is kind of, I don't know if you describe it as MMO. I believe it has MMO aspects to it, but basically you exist in a server with a lot of other people and you can create clans and take over territories, and you can defend those territories from other people live. Like you could fight battles over long periods of time and eventually try to take over, I think, different instances of servers. You could own, technically, I guess, quote unquote, all the territory in a server. Um, but there's a lot of drama going on with the game right now. An article by Ethan Gatch from Kotaku: Angry fans are review bombing Amazon's now abandoned MMO. Dave, what it appears has happened is, well, not appears, it has happened. There was an announcement put out that Amazon Games is going to be suspending services for the game. They will be no longer updating it, and it will go offline after 2026.
I mean, get fucked, I guess.
um, some bits and pieces from this article here. New World Eternum stood out as an impressive milestone for Amazon Game Studios. A hit MMO at launch, it will now be remembered as an unfortunate sacrifice on the altar of the tech giant's coming AI transformation. The company has announced that New World will get no new content. It's not shutting down this instant, but it seems unlikely to last beyond 2026. The article went on to say, a victim of the company's newly announced retreat from AAA game development, as it culls a staggering 14,000 employees from its payroll, New World was deemed no longer sustainable to continue supporting with new content updates. The
Wait a
reaction.
minute.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute. I think I know what the game you're talking about, because I think whenever it came to Steam, I wanted to try it. I
Mm-hmm.
checked it out and it was like mad pay to win. And I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of want like a grindy MMO, kind of like WoW. WoW. Shout out all that.
Yeah, because I think you can buy gold, which is like a currency you need to like buy your first like plot or whatever. I'm extremely
Yeah.
unfamiliar with it. Like I said, I found out about it through some sponsored streams when it first came out, and since then I hadn't really touched it. Although they interested me enough to where I had considered buying it a couple times. But I found my way into the niche that this game existed in Manor Lords, which is I believe strictly PvE.
Yeah,
Um,
shout out Manor Lords.
yeah. Really, all the this excerpt from the article had to say after that was just that they've been getting flooded with some negative reviews. It's not something we would normally get into too much, I don't think, on the main show. But how do you feel about because this is happening broadly across gaming, but also across a lot of different industries? How do you feel about this big push in media towards AI, and as it came to be in this situation, resulting in a lot of people getting laid off and losing their jobs?
I'm not gonna lie. I hate how good AI has become, like, ever since that fucking Will Smith eating spaghetti video. Like it I feel like it needs to be toned down by a lot, because I like to support like small creators whenever they like they draw, they do video games, stuff like that.
Mm,
And whenever like somebody uses like their art, like some like the small creators art to like feed into like the AI shit, it just it ruins it. I truly feel like AI is such a horrible tool to use in like any space other than like for studying.
yeah, I definitely. I mean, I'm super out of touch with the legislation in the states, but um, and this isn't something we're gonna get super deep into. I don't want to make this into a political hour, but I think there was a part of the big beautiful bill that was going to try to make it so the AI industry could remain unregulated for I think a decade, while it makes some advancements. I can't remember whatever happened with it. I don't know if it passed or it didn't, so that's something that I'm ignorant to. You could probably correct me on that in the comments, but um, unfortunately, in the case that it seems that lawmakers are trying to do that, which I mean, that's probably just them lobbying for some of these AI companies. I think it's unfortunate because I think AI needs to see a lot of regulations very quickly before this gets out of hand. Because I think, like you were saying, it's gonna get out of hand, and it's going to result in a lot of people losing their jobs in a time where I don't think a lot of people can really afford to.
Yeah, it's getting really bad really quick. I truly feel like some AI is good. Like Chat GPT is like really good for like it helps me understand like the shit that I'm doing in school.
Hmm.
So for like studying, I feel like AI is like pretty good at like breaking shit down because I'm stupid. But like for like AI like generative shit, it needs to not be a thing, bro. I feel like every AI picture generation, video generation, whatever, it needs to be stopped. Like, it's bad. It's getting too good too quick.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with everything you said. I was going through some of the reactions online. Is one of the things I want to do with this. I don't want to just read headlines and articles. I want to sort of show all the different sides of things and talk about what the people are saying as well. So I do have a couple posts from r slash New World, along with a couple of reviews that I pulled as well from the r slash New World game Reddit. This post says, "It can't end like this. New World is a fantastic game. It deserves to carry on. Our only hope is that it gets taken over by some other team. Here's what we should be doing to give them a chance." And then they just go on to list some things, including leaving positive reviews, but maybe with negative feedback to not tank the rating of the game, keep the population up. They want to flood people on to see if they could, sway them into, seeing good numbers and maybe changing their minds on what the value of keeping the game alive is, and then um, just keeping the conversation going online about the game, and then also directly contacting Jeff Bezos, Amazon through Twitter ads or what have you, and letting them know that they are not happy with the direction that Amazon Game Studio is going, but also maybe just the industry as a whole. Um, what do you think about efforts like this to try to band together and sort of take something back from developers? Do you think it's kind of futile, or do you think there's some merit and something positive that can come from like grassroots movements like this?
Honestly, with how big like some gaming companies are, I I sadly don't think anything's gonna come of it.
Yeah, I'd be very shocked to see a company like Amazon change their stance. We're talking about a company that dipped their toes into gaming just to see if it could add to their like an overall capital. Um, they could shut down Amazon games entirely and not feel it. So I don't know if they could be really bullied into a change like a Ubisoft or insert, game studio CD Project Red. I don't know if they could be bullied into making a change like a traditional gaming studio. Um, but just some other things from Reddit. 6,000 hours wasted. My honest take on New World. My old post got deleted by a mod, apparently. I was too helpful towards the game or something like that. My so-called hate simply comes from the fact that I wasted over 6,000 hours on something that kept getting destroyed by Amazon Game Studios' nonsense decisions and their ability to drive players away. Every update came with 100 fixes and 1,000 new bugs. Desk Bunny on Reddit said, "I feel kind of lost. I don't really feel angry towards AGS, although I probably should. I'd be curious to know at what point they thought New World was going to be profitable. I don't really feel anything for the dev team either. Whatever patches made the game less interesting, boring, repetitive, I never really felt it when I logged in. I don't have as many hours as a lot of you travelers do. I have been here since launch on PC and picked it up at launch on console as well. I think I'm just lost and I won't be able. I think I'm just lost that I won't be able to log in and just wander around Eternum. Wish I'd have put more hours into the game, taken more screenshots, ran more expeditions, chopped more trees, or mined more. And it does look like, right now, as of earlier this morning, the reviews on Steam for recent are sitting at mostly negative, and all time they're sitting at mixed right now.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. I feel like New World shutting down was kind of inevitable, I guess, just because Amazon Games is kind of mid sauce for the shit that they drop, you know. I don't really expect a game to live like, especially like a an MMO to live as long as like WoW or anything, but it's sad to see another MMO leave the market from an MMO enjoyer.
Yeah. I have a couple reviews that I pulled as well from Steam. A player with 110 hours said recently started playing, was enjoying it. Now it's being shut down because Amazon being Amazon. Um, Someone said boycotts all Amazon garbage. Um, yeah, it's a tough situation for any gamer to find themselves in. I mean, we even have a guy with 1,000 hours saying "save yourself," purchasing a game which has been axed by its publisher. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, it sucks. There's really not a easy way to put it. But you know, hopefully we can get some kind of positive resolution um at some point for this game. Dave, how familiar are you with Escape from Duckov?
Very. I really enjoyed the demo. It was really fun. I fucked with it.
For people listening to this that may be unfamiliar, seeing as our demographic of gamers that listens to our other show is a little bit older. Um, just explain for everyone listening kind of what the game is about, the basic cliff notes of the game.
So basically, it's Tarkov, but you get to customize your duck. So you play as like a little rubber duck dude. You go out into the world because your stash, your traders, all that is in like a bunker, like underground, and you go out. I don't know if it's PvP, but
It's PVE.
yeah, yeah. Um, so it's basically PvE Tarkov with ducks, bro. It's so fun. I love it.
Yeah, this game is kind of um taken the industry by storm lately, and I mean it's just the first, or not the first, it's the newest in a series of indie games that we have seen come out. I say indie from Escape from Duckov. I'm iffy on the developer. I don't know too much about them, but they've released other games, so I don't know if, you know, in because it's a Chinese dev, I don't know how big they are in their country, if they'd be considered not indie and more of like a bigger studio. But I have a article by Eddie Makic over at GameSpot. Escape from Duckov sells 1 million copies, adds mod support. Escape from Duckov, a new PvE top-down shooter from Team Soda that is something of a parody of Escape from Tarkov, is doing quite well on Steam. The duck-themed game launched on October 16th and quickly shot up the Steam charts, going on to sell more than 1 million copies in its first 5 days. I was reading some other articles as well. It has now sold over 2 million copies from what I have seen. It has eclipsed more than 550,000 concurrents on Steam, making it one of the platform's most popular games by player count. This quote here from, I believe, the development team. Team Soda is incredibly humbled to have reached such heights, and we owe the success to an incredible community of players and our friends at Billy Billy Game. Producer Jeff Chen said, whether you've been with us through our early days promoting the demo on Steam, or are just joining to see what all the quacking is about, thank you. And in this article, I saw that I guess the team that made this game is 5 people.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, so I feel like we're kind of seeing both sides of the industry as it is in 2025. We're seeing these big AAA games getting axed, getting kind of, I don't want to say abused or weaponized, but kind of weaponized against their fan bases and, held over people's heads. And kind of this unwritten way of saying, hey, if you're not giving us money 24/7 365 to support this game, then we're going to take it away from you. We're definitely moving more towards that scary time of buying is not owning. It's, renting, leasing, I think we've seen, what was it, Ubisoft that was trying to push that a little bit. I don't know if you're familiar with what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Um,
Ubisoft was like, don't get comfortable owning our games.
Yeah, which is just completely backwards. I was watching a Patrick CC video earlier, just about the rise of piracy and how, and I believe it was in 2020, we saw some record lows, and now with just the state of the industry, streaming platforms of all kinds, media and gaming, and also what the gaming industry is doing, we're seeing piracy shoot up a lot. And I think similar to what happened with New World. I think it's reasons like that where you're going to invest so much time and money into something and have it taken away. I think games like Escape from Duckov, like Lethal Company, like, insert other small indie games, Schedule One, RV There Yet, these little indie games that are popping up and having a lot of success. Um, I think it says something to, this level of creation that maybe isn't making it to the top of some of these development companies. For whatever reason, maybe developers aren't getting a chance or don't see a way to sort of see out their creative vision by working for a big studio. Um, and I think we're seeing that represented in the games we're getting from AAA that are unoriginal, uninteresting, lacking depth. And I think stories like Escape from Duckov are only a positive for the game industry. And I only hope that this is just another game that's going to continue to inspire small devs that will be able to provide fresh, unique experiences for everyone going forward. I like personally, I'm probably not going to try out this game. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, and I think we can kind of get into that a little bit more when we talk about Arc Raiders at the end of the show today. But what were your kind of takeaways from getting hands on with it?
I don't know, like, if you ever played the mobile game like SAS, like back in the day.
I don't believe so.
Um, it was a lot like that. I can't say that like I was a huge fan of it, but like I thought it was like really fun for an indie game. I thought the concept was really cool. I definitely fuck with it,
Mhm.
but as you know, I'm not a fan of like the top down style of a genre
Yeah,
of games.
and I mean, outside of the overachievers in that category like PoE is a top down game that I enjoy. I know you enjoy, but those are kind of exceptions to the rule where it reaches outside of just the top down genre.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I think if you think we've said everything we need to about Escape from Duckov, I'd be fine to move on.
Yeah, we can definitely move on.
All right. Have you seen any gameplay of Battlefield RedSec at all? Have you heard about any discussion about it?
I've seen a shout out the best streamer there is right now, at Burnt Peanut. I seen him play it with Timmy and
I believe Stroud as well, right?
no, the dude that Timmy plays with, the other dude that got his cod skin banned. Nick Merckx, there we go.
Mm.
I seen them play it, but I didn't really watch much. Like I thought it kind of looked a little bit mid, to be honest, but
Yeah, I mean, there's
that's
definitely
just me.
there's some mixed reviews out there. I have two articles here. The first one we'll go over first is written by Andrew Brown over at Games Radar. Battlefield RedSec is out now, and I'm relieved to say EA's Battle Royale stays true to Battlefield instead of pinching too much from Warzone or Fortnite. In a Battlefield RedSec briefing held ahead of launch, EA shared that Battlefield RedSec is set in California, map Fort Linden, part beachside suburbia, part military black site. It's the largest map in Battlefield history, built to support both close and long range playstyles, and in line with that classic Battlefield realism, is encircled by a roaring wall of fire, which will close in as each match progresses. While Battlefield RedSec is going to face endless Warzone comparisons, no matter what it does, the Battle Royale does put its own spin on the genre, rather than steady damage that being out of bounds usually entails in a Battle Royale. Battlefield's RedSec closing circle immediately kills anyone that falls outside of it. Besides not trying to die, you can also tackle missions, counter missions, think bounty hunting, gaining intel, so similar to Warzone contracts. As for the thrilling topic of progression, RedSec shares progression with Battlefield 6. Although there are challenges specific to each mode, a battle pass is shared across both modes, though, and RedSec will be included within the same launcher. With all that said, Battlefield RedSec is out now, and if you see me, this is just him editorializing a little bit and breaking the fourth wall a little bit. I think from what I saw, and I haven't been hands-on. I've had a lot. I've been busy with this week, so regrettably, I can't give a first-person perspective. But I've seen some gameplay. I kind of disagree with Andrew Brown in this article. I think it looks a lot like Warzone. I think it uses a lot of what Warzone has in it. And I have seen that people are kind of iffy on tanks. I don't know which side of the aisle this is, if we're talking the Battlefield fans are upset with the tanks or if the COD people are upset with the tanks,
It's got to
because
be the COD players.
that's kind of where my mind was headed with it. Because I think I think I mentioned it in other podcasts, maybe it was in my own personal video on my channel. I think what makes Battlefield unique would lend itself very well to making a good battle royale. It's just a matter of if the Battlefield fan base has an appetite for it, which, from what I've seen, they don't. I think a lot of this is trying to appeal to that wider, broader audience, which I've said in the podcast before that I kind of disagree with. I don't think you should try to be like every other game. You should just be yourself. I think that's why a lot of people were excited about Battlefield this year, because it isn't Call of Duty. There's nothing in the game that reminds you of Call of Duty. It is its own unique experience. At this day we sit at, I don't think any developer is going to beat Call of Duty at what it's good at. Like, X Defiant was a fun experience. I found myself genuinely, as a COD fan, as a COD dick writer, I found myself on certain days wanting to play X Defiant. I thought it had a lot to offer, but I would be on it for a certain amount of time, and I would think to myself, when maybe the hit registration wasn't as accurate, when the movement didn't feel as fluid, when the guns didn't feel as responsive, I found myself craving the refined Call of Duty experience that we know today, which is just a result of them having so many titles in their library. They've refined it um, kind of down to a science at this point. Um, it's I I I struggle to really form an opinion on it because I struggle to see where EA and DICE were coming from and trying to do this outside of they're just trying to follow this industry trend. And I mean, we talked about it before, like years ago. I feel like Dave, like it feels like Battle Royale's been dying for a while, right?
Absolutely.
I I think we keep seeing these games in this Battle Royale genre, and obviously with Call of Duty, it kind of extends into the multiplayer as well. I think a lot of Call of Duty multiplayer fans would agree that when the Battle Royale was added to the game, that's when multiplayer started to get worse. And I think it's when we see a lot of these like heavy microtransactions and microtransactions that have no like real value. It feels like I'm being extorted almost. I don't know if that's the right way like word for it, but these bundles we're getting are way overpriced. Like you're talking about you buy two bundles in a game for some skins that you think are cool, and you've already rebought the game. You know, depending on, you know, what point of the year you buy it at, you know, you could argue now with games being $70 or $80, maybe it takes more bundles, but I think the point still stands that, you know, instead of buying these two bundles, you could have bought a completely unique experience. Like for two $24 or $25 bundles actually in Call of Duty, like what games would you buy? You could get Schedule 1, Escape from Duckov, you could get like Phasmophobia,
Hell,
Demonologist,
bro.
take your pick, and something else.
Hell, bro. For the price of two fucking bundles in COD, bro, you could buy the base edition of Tarkov, bro.
Yeah, or you could buy Helldivers.
Or you could buy a better game called Helldivers, bro. Fuck it.
Yeah, like I don't see the value proposition in this before with the
And
old format.
then on top of the bundles, you have people out here buying the battle pass like every 3 months. So that's even more money you're like tossing into the game. Like you're just spending too much money on a game where you could have so much more fun for so little price of something else.
Yeah, and I think we've seen things get to a point. I mean, even just in life, hype culture's become a thing. There's a lot more value attached to various designer brands than there were before. But I think these developers would be surprised to see that not everything has to be flashy, not everything has to feel exclusive, limited time bundles, that kind of thing. I think you'd be surprised with how much people can just enjoy the simple things. I think people are still capable of being like, oh, I grinded for this cherry blossom camo. I fuck with this camo. This is my only camo I'm gonna use. Or when they added the map packs in Black Ops 2 and you could have the fucking Benjamin camo, the fucking camo pandas all over it, or like whatever, you know, country flags, things like that. Um, I don't think we're too far gone to get back to people just being able to enjoy that, being able to enjoy skins that are based within the reality of the game, which credit to Battlefield, they've been doing a good job at toying the line with that. They've gone a little bit too far for Battlefield fans where they felt like the colors were too bright on certain skins. So I've seen that they've toned those down, dropped the saturation down a little bit on those to make them feel more in world. But I think, and I was going to mention earlier, they did a battle royale before, and I didn't like it. I did not like their previous battle royale. So I don't know. I think I played like a couple of rounds or like one or two games. So my memory of it is very blurry. Um, but I'd be curious to look like go and find gameplay of it and see how different these experiences are. Is this literally just that old battle royale that people forgot about, brought back? You know, that I'm not sure about. Um, but I think they got to be careful because I've already seen things to the battle pass that people are upset about. The Battlefield fans. I think what they're in danger of doing is they are going to kill their own fan base. They might be able to attract the Call of Duty fans, the people that were playing X Defiant before that now don't have a home. But when these other developers release new titles, when the new Call of Duty comes out, if Ubisoft tries to make a new shooter because they're desperate, you know, those players aren't going to stick around. Because as far as it goes with these other games, I don't think there's anything Battlefield does that overlaps with those games that is really better or is pushing the envelope, innovating further than Call of Duty, you know, insert other title, Fortnite, PUBG. I think it just, you know, what they do good is what makes Battlefield Battlefield. And I don't think I just I'm not a fan that they're trying to copy some of these other games with a battle royale. But I mean it's here. We're gonna have to see how it plays out. How do you feel it could affect the future of the game and the player base?
I feel like Battlefield should not have added a BR in general. Like BRs are like the downfall of like multiplayer games. Like if people are gonna be playing the BR, and they enjoy it, that's gonna take away from the multiplayer aspect exactly how it did for COD. It's not a good thing that they added a BR.
Yeah. And what I have seen, and what this other the second article I have pulled up is, Battlefield fans aren't happy, and I think me and you have both seen a little bit of gameplay. Obviously, the streamers seem pretty happy with it, but I think there's this disconnect where the Battlefield fan base is saying, "Stop listening to these streamers. These streamers don't represent us. You're not listening to the actual community. You're listening to what these, basically you could call them advertisers, are saying. These people technically, quote unquote, are advertising your game to their audience by playing it. So when you see Tim the Tap Man on launch day of this having, you know, however many viewers he had, 50K concurrents, you know, whatever it ended up being, he's advertising the game to those people, and they see him having fun and like, oh, maybe I can go have fun. Whereas the Battlefield people want them to just listen to their actual community. From Ford James over at Polygon, Battlefield 6 players are review bombing RedSec, but not because it's bad. Battlefield RedSec, Battlefield's battle royale competitor to Call of Duty Warzone, launched earlier this week to a lot of praise and fanfare. Social media is abuzz with impressive clips, and despite solo players receiving the short end of the stick with only duos and quads playlist available, the reception has been overwhelmingly positive until you check the Steam reviews. As of writing this, reviews on Steam for Battlefield RedSec are mixed, because despite the countless positive reviews explaining how good the core gameplay is, that's balanced out by a myriad of reviews, mostly from Battlefield 6 players who self-admit they're not interested in RedSec. One review he had in this article says, I bought Battlefield 6 for its core mode. I shouldn't be forced into playing RedSec because half of my weeklies are tied to a mode I don't want to play. Another reiterates the same sentiment with the additional context that even though you can reroll challenges, you'll still see plenty focused on RedSec because they are pushing it hard on people that would not touch it even once. And what they're talking about, Dave, for context, because you haven't been in the game, you haven't seen the UI. Battlefield is doing the same thing that COD has done, where you open the game and instantly it asks you if you want to buy the battle pass. So you have to get
That's
past.
actually ass.
Yeah, so you have to get past the battle pass advertisement first before getting into the menus of the game. And with these challenges, I believe, I forget how exactly the challenges work in COD, because I don't really do the challenges for the battle pass. If I buy it, I never end up completing it anyway. And Fortnite obviously is just a BR, so this comparison wouldn't work in this case. But what they're talking about with the challenges is, in order to complete the battle pass, it is requiring you to play RedSec. There are certain challenges that can only give you the battle pass like level experience by completing them in RedSec. So you can't just do the battle pass normally in multiplayer, for the way I understand it.
Horrible.
So you're having people that are paying $10 for something that forces them to play an experience that they're not interested in. Some people leaving reviews similar to what the person was asking the New World community to do, that the review itself is negative, but the rating is positive because they like the game. They just don't like the direction that developers are going. Which, to be honest, I think is the wrong way of doing it. I think if you want them to listen, you gotta review bomb the fuck out of the game. You gotta let them know, like, with negative reinforcement. But some Steam reviews, this player with 71 almost hours, pay $70 just for the game to hit you with a battle pass ad every time you launch it. Great. And someone else said, it's over for this game, fun while it lasted. A player with 122 hours said, this game had a fantastic beta and a very good launch experience. Some flaws were quickly fixed and others, broken progression through challenges, at least addressed. The first major update has now turned the game into a not recommended for me. I do not care about the Battle Royale games at all. Forcing players into that dog water mode in order to complete their weeklies is an absurd joke and kills all the motivation I had for the game. It's like I said, they're not listening to their core fan base, and they're going to drive people away. I'm a YouTube Premium person. I am not the kind of person that likes ads, and I think in a lot of ways that the world is moving towards people really not liking when advertising is shoved down their throat. When I see ads for a brand, a game, a movie, and it is just being pushed to me hardcore for whatever reason. If it's targeted, if based on X, Y, and Z criteria in the data that is stolen from me by all these different companies, they believe that I will like this. If I see something too much, dude, I just start to resent it because I'm sick of seeing it. And I think we could end up seeing that with Battlefield, where you're forcing an experience someone doesn't want on them so much, they're just going to say, fuck your game entirely. Fuck your franchise. I don't fucking care anymore. Because I don't think we're living in the world that we were in 2010, 2011, where there was kind of 2 or 3 big releases a year. There's a lot more bigger releases. They're just spread across more genres than there were before. There's a wider variety of games to choose from. But I mean, this person could go and play fucking Escape from Duckov and put 6,000 hours into that game, you know? Like, there's a lot of different experiences out there that you can lose these people to. This person could become a World of Warcraft player, you know? And then they'll never see the light of the sun again. So, yeah. I mean, what do you take away from the negative reviews?
I think that maybe they need to fucking review bomb them like even more, because there's no way I want to get fucking hit with an ad every time I open up a game, bro.
Yeah, and I
There's
think
no way I want to play a bullshit BR to unlock something. It's not happening.
yeah, and I think what Battlefield did with the BR is what I don't like about Call of Duty and Warzone. I feel like these experiences need to be separate. They should not be in the same launcher. I should be able to open Call of Duty and play the multiplayer without being reminded that Warzone exists. If I want to play Warzone, I will go and play it. But opening Battlefield 6 and having RedSec shoved down my throat and vice versa, I don't think vice versa works, but the same thing over with Call of Duty and Warzone. I hate it. I do not like it. These experiences being tied together, I think it causes too much content overlap where there's things that make sense in a BR that don't make sense in multiplayer. I don't want Cardi B double cheeked up BBL fucking stinking up the map running around fucking shoot house. I don't want it. I don't want to see Beavis and Butthead slide cancel around a corner and one tap me with the fucking shotgun. I don't want that. That's not how I like the visuals in my game to be as far as the characters goes. And this is kind of where I think maybe these developers could have their cake and eat it too, where some of these crazy skins, I think, work better in a battle royale setting. Maybe if you separate these apart and you really separate the fan bases, maybe you'll find that your battle royale fan base likes having these crazy fucking skins and weird ass camos and shit, and then you just take it away from the multiplayer people and give them something else. Like, there's still ways you can make money off of this and monetize it. I just think you gotta stop trying to make people buy stuff when they don't want to buy it, really. Yeah. How I mean, do you think this is gonna really like negatively impact the game long term, or do you think this is something that will
Yes.
blow over eventually?
Yes, it is gonna, like, as long as they do challenges for BR or hit you with a fucking ad as soon as you start up the game, it's gonna affect the game long term. It's probably gonna fucking kill it eventually. Like, if they don't change anything soon. Like, have RedSec just be its own game mode. Like,
Yeah.
don't add like stuff you can get for like multiplayer into it. Like, that's such a horrible um concept. I guess.
Do you think both Call of Duty and Battlefield could benefit from creating a separate launcher for their battle royale and removing it from the main game?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like every BR need, like, if they're attached to a bigger IP, it needs to be separated.
Yeah, say like if fucking Rainbow Six Siege came out with the BR. If that was attached to the main game, I don't think it would work well.
Yeah, no.
Um, yeah, I have nothing else really to say about this. I feel like I kind of just ended up rambling a little bit anyway. Um, but we will have to probably circle back to this closer to Call of Duty coming out, because I think we're gonna see a lot of the COD nerds start getting horny for the game, and they might start leaving Battlefield. And I think that's where we can see kind of the impact that this is gonna have. I gotta say, before we get into Arc Raiders, I realized something today. I thought Arc Raiders was gonna be free. I didn't know it was $40.
Nope. It's $40.
Because the whole time, context, I won't speak for you, Dave. I don't really care for Arc Raiders as an experience, but in the podcast and in some videos, I said that I would still give it a shot and I'd play it when it comes out. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
I ain't paying $40 for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't think I'm paying $40 for it. I was willing to give it a shot, maybe if it was like $10, but
Like,
for my own interest in the game, I can't.
Pushing it. 20 is kind of pushing it, but I would pay it for like $10-15.
Yeah. I have some articles for you. For these, feel free to jump in whenever. These articles, I'm gonna be honest, from the front as someone who does not like Arc Raiders. And honestly, I think Arc Raiders life cycle will be shorter than New World. New World was out for 4 years. I think this game is dying before that. Just to get that out there. These articles pissed me off. These articles fucking pissed me off. Except the last one. The last one I was probably a little bit just
You
more.
went on a whole fucking tangent with that one, bro.
Yeah, feel free to jump in whenever. First article from Connor McCarr over at Eurogamer. After 40 hours and counting, Arc Raiders has me convinced extraction shooters are brilliant. There's a rare experience with video games when an entire genre just clicks for you. A moment when the appeal makes sense. Crawling onto an elevator with a backpack full of loot, hastily initiating the extraction sequence with seconds left to live. Arc Raiders did exactly that. It let off a firework in my head. How was I ever not a fan of this? Arc Raiders is, simply put, a third-person extraction shooter. It is a factory that mass produces tense moments, by its own nature a source of intense anxiety, high stakes, devastating losses, rapturous victories. Pulling back, it's a game of gradual self-refinement, both of your inventory, full of resources, and your character's abilities, and likewise your own know-how.
They say like devastating loss and all that, what you were like what you were saying.
Yes.
No, Uh,
Yeah.
you don't lose anything in that game worth anything, bro. It's horrible. What are you gonna lose? Like fucking a cum rag and some scrap, bro?
The way I'd put it is, and preface again, we're not playing the full game, so maybe there's more items in the game, there's higher rarities, to that end we won't experience maybe the loss they're talking about. But in my experience in the game, the way I'd put it is I didn't lose shit worth a fuck. Like nothing I lost in the game made me upset. This person was talking about uh intense anxiety and high stakes. I didn't feel anxious
No,
playing this game at all. I felt
not
bored
one.
the majority of the time that I played this game. I felt like I was accomplishing zero the moment I got the 2 hours of gameplay I needed. We got the fuck off the game. Um, yeah. Um, there's a lot in this article that I don't agree with. Again, my bias of not liking the game. Um, it's just, oh my god, man. We'll just get into the other article. Mark Delaney, over at GameSpot. Arc Raiders made me feel like the main character. One of my favorite experiences in any open world game is when something that must have been spontaneous feels scripted. When emergent moments become set pieces by happy accident. Many of my favorite games have this quality, such as State of Decay, Sea of Thieves, and PUBG. In a recent 4-hour session with Arc Raiders, I saw signs that it too has this elusive yet irresistible trait. It was as though we were trapped in the monomyth and facing down threshold guardians in another session, in which GameSpot's Ben Janka joined us. We were making chit chat when we were ambushed in what seemed like a well coordinated effort by an enemy trio. It felt like the sort of rough and tumble action moment you'd catch in a movie, where the good guys had let their guard down and had to fight tooth and nail to get out of it merely to learn their lesson. Arc Raiders became a memory-making machine, stitching together encounters that felt like they told a larger story of our triumphs and tribulations. I've likened the game to Star Wars a few times, deliberately, as the sci-fi world's blend of high-tech robots and a grease-leathered fighter pilot. Aesthetic are very much...
Brain aneurysm.
Yeah, brain
What game
aneurysm.
were we talking about?
Arc Raiders.
Oh, we're still on Arc Raiders. Goddamn. Okay.
Yes.
I
As
thought
the
we fucking moved on.
Oh no, there's a lot of articles for Arc Raiders. As the sci-fi world's blend of high-tech robots and a grease-lathered fighter pilot, aesthetic very much reminds me of a more grounded Star Wars. There are no Jedi Force powers or lightsabers here, but if you hold the Arc Raiders up to something like Rogue One or Andor, the similarities are much more apparent.
Don't
If
ever, don't ever compare this game to fucking Star Wars, bro. Whoever wrote this needs to get a fucking reality check, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, if this is the game that unlocked moments that you haven't experienced in any other game, I think you got to play more games, brother. Like,
As somebody who literally had 500 gigabytes worth of fucking Steam data on my shit, you need to play more games if this is the most exhilarating game you've ever played.
yeah, and what really upset me about this article is, personally, I don't like it when people editorialize articles. I'm not a big fan of it. And when he's sitting here talking about we were making chit chat when we were ambushed in what seemed like a well coordinated effort by an enemy trio, in my mind, there's a couple things that come into play. I've written articles before. This is, you're trying to reach a certain character. I'm so fucking fried right now. He's trying to get X amount of words into the article. You want the articles to be a certain length because you want them on the page for a certain amount of time to have ads play in the background. So he's editorializing the fuck out of this to try to get people to spend more time reading. When you're talking about it seemed like a well-coordinated effort by an enemy trio, dog, that's just fucking playing video games.
Literally, that's
I've lost rounds of search and destroy that felt like a well-coordinated effort by the enemy team. That is what gaming is.
That's literally just you playing quads in any fucking game, bro.
Yeah. Reading his entire article, for me, if you're trying to, I won't say take advice from me, because you probably shouldn't take advice from me. I wouldn't want you to. Because at the end of the day, if you like arc raiders and I don't like arc raiders, I mean, I'm not going to judge you for it. Dave might.
Everybody has their own opinion.
Yeah.
Ours is just arc raiders is kind of buns.
Yeah, and for me, with these articles, the main thing I wanted to highlight, because I feel like we've made our opinion of arc raiders known. When I read articles like this, I don't think anyone should be reading this. The moment you start to see that this dude is just fluffing all of this, he's over dramatizing.
Bro is literally hitting the 500 word minimum in using this fucking specific words that just pop out and just be like, oh, this game is wonderfully magnificent, bro. Like,
yeah.
You're pissing me off with this. That's all I'm saying.
My message to you would be, is to not waste your time with these kinds of articles. When it's over dramatized, when it's hyper editorialized, these articles are a waste of time. There's nothing in here that you're going to gain. I get that this article was more this guy's review. But I think you would find more value literally anywhere else getting an actual, like, critical, in-depth review. And maybe the review you watch could tell you that the game is good. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with the person in the video, because I think there are things about arc raiders that make it desirable to some people, which we'll get into in our third arc raiders article after this. But I put this in here just to say I would avoid articles like this. I just came across it when I was putting stuff together for the show, and I was like, this dude's fucking pissing me off.
I wasn't even the one reading. I was listening to it, and I'm like, this dude's a fucking piece of work.
Yeah. Final article for today's show by James Ford at Polygon. Arc Raiders is the perfect extraction shooter for newbies. Arc Raiders makes a typically unforgiving genre that has me coming back for more. It's somewhat astonishing that nobody has managed to nail this approach to an extraction shooter before now. Other teams have certainly tried, but where Escape from Tarkov has the gritty, extremely punishing side of things locked down, Arc Raiders is poised to sit atop the throne for the not-so-serious side. That isn't to say Arc Raiders isn't revolutionary, but one thing quickly became apparent in my 4-hour preview session. This isn't a game where ventures into the hostile environment will take hours. At best, you're spending 20 minutes, maybe 30 at a push, looting as much as you can, and then hightailing it to the nearest extraction point. The way Arc Raiders approaches hostile, non-player enemies is a huge part of its appeal. If you want to take on the bigger foes, you need to come equipped. Standard infantry-focused weapons and gadgets aren't going to cut it. When geared up with a hull cracker, an epic tier anti-arc launcher, and a wolfpack grenade, which explodes into homing shards towards arc enemies, my squad of 3 took down 2 Rocketeers, and a Leaper with ease. But with such heavy weaponry, we were between a rock and a hard place when we stumbled upon a firefight between multiple different squads and couldn't hold our own. I think this guy really summed up Arc Raiders very well. I think the purpose it serves is for people who, and it's not because I disagree with their taste of games. It's not because they're a pussy or they can't handle it. A lot of people don't like games like Tarkov that really punish you. Especially people, I have a job. Tarkov does get to a point for me where I'm like, I'm putting all this time in. It took me hours to get this shit and I lost it. Fuck this game. I get that. And I think Arc Raiders does appeal nicely to people in that kind of situation who just literally don't want to get bullied whenever they fucking play a game and don't want to get their nose pushed through the fucking back of their skull. There are similarities in this article where this guy's talking about these bigger world enemies that you have to gear up for. I find that similarly in Tarkov, when you got to bring in certain gear to take down a certain boss, you need to bring in extra grenades, you're doing whatever. The difference like in time investment in a Tarkov raid, I feel like once you get past that initial, I mean, what would you say? Probably like 20 minutes. By then, everything that's going to happen in the raid has already happened, and then the rest of it is just chill.
Yeah, yeah. Like, well, they do persistent raids, so everybody's so even if everybody gets out, there's got to be new people constantly coming in.
Well, yeah, but I'm just meaning like I'm trying to make an example. Like, would you say like after 20 minutes, an Escape from Tarkov raid normally dies down?
Oh yeah, for Tarkov,
Yeah.
maybe like after like the first like 15.
Okay. Because the point I was trying to make is with Tarkov, I feel like there's almost an incentive to people who don't want to get into the firefights and are trying to avoid players to survive, and that end of the raid can be a lot more calming. Where obviously in Tarkov, like I get anxious in Tarkov. For me, it's
Yeah.
an intense game. That's the easy part of the game where you are just looting, you're moving around. You can maybe drop your guard down a little bit, but like any extraction shooter, when you're trying to get out with shit, your awareness has to be there somewhat all the time. Whereas with Arc Raiders, even with these persistent lobbies, if I'm spending 20 minutes in a raid, because we like, what's the longest we spent in one of our first couple where nothing happened, like 15, 16 minutes?
Yeah, probably.
I feel like in Tarkov, if you spent an hour playing, and maybe in Tarkov, if you want to say your average survival time is 30 minutes, which I think for new players, maybe not be the case, something will happen. You will get head tapped by a fucking PMC or a scav. You will get the opportunity to kill some scavs. You'll find something good. You might make it out. I think there's a higher chance for chaos to happen. There's a higher chance for crazy things to happen. Whereas in Arc Raiders, in my experience, these 20 to 30 minute at a time raids, if you want to call them that, I feel like you're more likely to end up spending 50 minutes where fuck all happens. Because, I mean, that was our experience. We played for like an hour and nothing happened. We had to actively go.
Look for people.
Yeah, we had to actively go out of our way and like chase people down to get into firefights to see what the gunplay felt like. Whereas in a game like Tarkov, I think there's more in that game that brings people together naturally, where you will just come across someone no matter what.
Mm.
And I think that's kind of where Arc Raiders was losing me. I think maybe if I got to shoot my gun more, maybe I would have felt differently. I think that first hour is probably where they needed to make a good impression on us to kind of sell me on it, and they didn't.
Yeah, that first hour was really boring.
Yeah. I have a couple notes here. When I was looking at these articles this morning, I put this in. I think Arc Raiders is trying to be Helldivers and Tarkov without being better than either game at what those games are good at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have seen people make some videos, some shorts comparing the different sizes of like these like giant world enemies that you can take down. And in this article, he's talking about gearing up specifically with or with an intention to take down a specific enemy. I think if you're playing Arc Raiders and you're really liking going in specifically set up to take out a specific enemy to get something out of it, I think you should be playing Helldivers. I think if that's the experience that is making Arc Raiders for you, I think you'd have way more fun on Helldivers. And if your thing is just being a vacuum, collecting shit, going out and killing people now that you have all the best gear in the world, I think Tarkov's the game for you. I think no matter what you enjoy in this game, I think if you enjoy a particular thing, if you don't enjoy Arc for everything that Arc is, I think you need to be playing something else. Because if you just like one specific facet of the game, there's a game that does that way better.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your opinion on that?
Honestly, I really feel like other games just do it so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the fact that like they compared it to whatever the fuck they compared it to. But I still truly feel like it feels more like Vigor.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like anything is like mixed together. It literally just feels like they made Vigor 2.0.
Mm-hmm. Which, for people that don't know, Vigor is an extraction shooter made by Bohemia Interactive, the same people behind Daisy and Arma. Um, and that's a game that, you know, me and Dave have enjoyed on console, but on PC, the anti-cheat doesn't seem to really prevent a hacker from being in every single match that you play. Granted, I think we played it last like 3 years ago, so maybe that's changed, but um, yeah, there's nothing, there's no hook for me. There's nothing that has me wanting to go back for more. Um, and I kind of put it in the same boat, like how you put it in with Vigor. I kind of put it in the same boat as well with DMZ. There's nothing in DMZ that had me wanting to go back for more. Um, and I think, you know, asterisks here to this point, a big reason why DMZ didn't succeed is I don't think the Call of Duty fan base at large is a fan base that would enjoy extraction shooters anyway. Um, I think we're seeing a trend just in the corporate industry as a whole, where companies are trying to step into the niches of other companies to try to take it over and like kill their product and have their product be the premium, so that way they can control as much market cap as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Activision was trying to do with DMZ. It's just that Activision's developers are hamstrung by the fucking corporate, like gods that be, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Um, and obviously, like I said, that was a big contributing factor to why DMZ failed. So when I say this, I don't mean to say that there's going to be like a super sharp fall off with Arc. But I don't see Arc being much more successful than DMZ was. Um,
Yeah, no, not even close. Because DMZ still wasn't very successful, but it was still successful enough where like people now are still continuing to play it after what, like 4 years.
yeah, because that was Modern Warfare 2 2022. So yeah, coming up on 4 years because we're about to get a new COD.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I don't think Arc Raiders is going to live past 4 years.
yeah, I think 4 years is a good timeline for it. And I don't have any examples of this. Maybe I could have checked Twitter. That is my bad. But I did see on Reddit and a couple other places that um, they might be doing some fuck shit with their monetization. I was seeing something that some of the skin bundles were kind of um, priced more like they should be in a free to play game and not a pay to play game. And some people were already kind of getting upset about that. So that'll be interesting to see how they respond to that, because like pay to play with free to play prices it's exactly what's killing the monetization model that Activision has at Call of Duty right now. Like I explained, I could buy 2 bundles for the price of 5 games on Steam that I
Yeah.
could get hundreds, if not thousands, of hours out of playing if I have obviously the time to do that. Because obviously some people have jobs like myself, and maybe throughout the week we don't have as much time to dedicate to gaming. Um, I mean, with that being said, is there anything else you want to just add on to everything before we call it a show?
No, I feel like we've pretty much touched on everything that I would want to talk about. There's nothing too crazy going on of my knowledge other than people meat writing um arc raiders, but
All right. Well, with that being said, I think we'll call it a show there. For anyone who has listened to this point, I would just like to say, so it's out there. Maybe we'll put it at the front of the show in the future. We are recording this on Friday to go out on Monday, so we may miss some stuff that happens over the weekend. If whenever you're seeing this, there's more news, there's different things that have come out that you think we missed, you want to know our opinion on, let us know down in the comments. Me and Dave are always checking the comments. If something happens and you don't want to wait until the next week to get our thoughts on it, maybe it's something that we didn't talk about and you want our opinion on it, ask us in the comments, add us. Just comment on this video. You could comment on a different video on the channel as well. We'll get back to you and we'll let you know our thoughts on it. But this has been episode 1 of Patch Notes.